I have returned with your daily dose of all things Diablo 4 news and updates because, yes, we've got official news about Diablo 4 because we're talking about Season 2. I kid you not. Also, finally, it looks like sorcerers in Diablo 4 are getting a much-needed cosmetic upgrade, and we're also going to be talking about the druids as well and what's happening with the druid going forward. Plus, more changes are coming to loot drop rates in particular areas of the game, and it looks like dungeons are getting much needed fine tuning as well. Also, should Diablo go back to the act system as opposed to having an open world? We're talking about the franchise as a whole here. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about this. And we've got to talk about some of the questionable RNG mechanics behind obtaining Wrathful Hearts in the Season of the Malignant. But yeah, let's get into the official stuff. First and foremost, heading on over to Twitter. Yes, I'm still calling it Twitter. Check it out right here. We have Keegan Clark of Blizzard who says this: "Hey sorcerers who play as the masculine body type, show me images of the types of male sorcerer outfits you want to wear, please." And of course, we scroll down here, we have this reply. Personally, I think it's less about the outfits and more that the masculine sorcerers just looks thick and everything. I think most of my feedback is on the body shape type more than anything, and he plans to add more body types in the character creator. Also, more hoods. And a further reply here from Keegan Clark who says, "This is one of those things that is widely expensive in terms of dev resources to change after being built. There are dozens of existing armors in the game that would have to be significantly reworked in order to fit a different body type." But wait a second, that's not all. We got to keep going here because we have further information. So check it out. It says, "Thanks for all the awesome images and feedback on the male sorcerer armors. The team is looking at these now. It takes a while to build the art for armor sets, so we appreciate your patience." So right now, it looks like they're building out more masculine armor sets, getting into your feedback that you guys want better looking armors for the male sorcerer. So it seems like, yeah, that is going to be happening. Now, when can we expect to see these armor sets appear in the game? I'm not too sure, but if I could speculate, possibly, maybe, just maybe, Season 2. We'll have to wait and see. Now, mentioning Season 2, we've got updates about that, so let's talk about it. So we have this also. Keegan Clark says this: "We'll have more new and different looks coming for druids in Season 2. Stay tuned, and please share images if you have specific looks you want to rock." So they are really getting in tuned to what the community is looking for when it comes to those cosmetics. Of course, a lot of this stuff is probably going to be ending up in the battle pass. That's a whole other matter, but yeah. Hopefully they can get some of this in-game as actual rewards for actually playing the game. That sure would be nice as well. Now, we also got to talk about this one right here. We have Zero who says this: "I want both sorcerers to have some high fashion or coven type or dark mage skins. Also, a Lilith-inspired skin for both would be so lit." And guess what? The reply was, "Love these looks on both." Again, this is something that they're looking into. Let me know what you make of those looks and if that's something you would like to see for the sorcerer. Now, we also have this right here. Wowhead highlighted these shop cosmetics right here. Of course, for Season 1, we have some replies, and then we have this one. We're going to get into it. It says, "Does this collection include the Succubi Sorcerer skin?" And Keegan Clark says, "That's a separate skin, but stay tuned. We have a lot of similar fantasies as that Succubi skin is in the pipeline. The more you know." So that is going to be also happening. Now, it looks like they want to adjust, of course, some of the mechanics for loot dropping in the game in specific ways. So check it out right here. We have Joseph Papora who asked this out on Twitter. He says this: "I wanted to ask on stream today, but I'll do it on Twitter poll instead because I'm curious. What do you think the legendary drop chance for treasure goblins is at level 50 plus? The majority here said 10%, but the question is, what would you guys actually like for it to be right now? So yeah, they're getting feedback. They're further diving into what's going on with the treasure goblin. And they did say on stream that, you know, Diablo 3 had like 14 different variations of goblins. So to me, it looks like in the long term, they're going to be adding more and more types of goblins in the future. Now, we do have an interesting reply here as well. Let's get into it. Check it out. It says this: "This dungeon death respawn location is getting farther. Might as well respawn me outside the dungeon. Please, sir, change it. Make it at least 2 screens away from the crime scene." And we can scroll down here and see how ridiculous this is. I've noticed this as well. Now, Joseph Porter says, okay, we'll take a look. So this is definitely an issue that I have faced in the dungeons, and it is very annoying. I hope that they can address this going forward. It looks like, yeah, this is going to be on their list of things to do. Next up, we have this one right here. I don't know if this has been answered, but do you think it's possible to add an in-game notification when a world boss and legions are about to spawn? Similar to Helltides notification, but with sounds. It's hard to monitor the map, especially if you are inside the dungeons or busy comparing items and fixing stats. A great point with the sound, by the way. That's critical as well. Ghost Reporter says, this is something we're discussing internally, and I really hope they tune into the fact that the guy mentioned here that sound is a critical part of the notification, because I still feel like it would be very easy to miss if it just pops up, unless it's like a big red flashing text or something. But there needs to be some sort of cool pinging noise alongside it to really get your attention. It can't be annoying, of course. It has to be cool. Now we have this one right here. Is this intentional? When spending Smoldering Ashes from the seasonal pass on softcore and then logging into a hardcore seasonal character, those ashes are not spent and cannot be re-earned. If we scroll down here, we have the reply. It says, if that's happening, that's a bug. We will investigate. So yeah, if that is going on, they're looking into it. Don't panic. It's something that they are going to be fixing. All right, let's get into what the community is further talking about here. So let's take a look. It says, as someone who has been playing Diablo since the first one released, and this one comes from Eldritch Slut. Anyway, it says, I'm having a lot of fun. That is all. It says, stay a while and listen. I have only just started to touch the end game, so maybe there is something to say about the game at that point. All right, I'm going to get into another post here, so stay tuned. This is really good. It says, but do you really need to 100% a game before you have an opinion on it? Honestly, though, if I had spent hundreds of hours in just a few weeks playing any game, I would feel the way so many do. And I have a life, and as a casual orgy enthusiast, I have much more important matters to attend to than min-maxing my bitterness and rage for a video game. I'm not saying the game is perfect, but if you focus on screeching less about the negatives online and just play the game for what it is, you'll enjoy it more. Maybe it's a generational issue. When I played Diablo 1 and 2, we didn't have internet. There were no updates. The game you bought was the game you got, so you learned to enjoy what you had despite its flaws. Sometimes you just have to sit back, take a breath, and appreciate what you have. I hope some of you can one day accept that. I thought that was well said as well. Now, we do have a reply here. Curious to see what you guys say about it, though, because I'm enjoying it as well, but I can definitely see where the complaints are coming from. I usually just get high and want to kill some monsters, though, so most of them don't really bother me, though. He's living his best life. All right, so now we have kind of a post that ties into this, because as you may remember in that post, he did mention that he didn't exactly get to the very end game. This is kind of what happens. Check it out right here. It says, CC to death is such garbage dev work. This comes from Lucky YOLO, who says, title, I feel duped. Had fun at first, but now I'm at the end of the game and their idea of difficulty is being frozen or stunned by every attack. And this is what I'm seeing commonly happen. I think more and more people are finally getting into the end game, especially casual players are finally getting there, and they're discovering what is happening with crowd control and being CC'd, and it's extremely frustrating. Now, this is going to be fine-tuned officially, but this is something Blizzard needs to get on immediately now. It goes on to say this, forced to do nothing until my character dies. It's like they walked in my space, took my keyboard away, waited for my character to die, then gave it back to me. Who keeps telling devs that players enjoy not playing their game while playing their game? That is all this is. I'm not being outsmarted. This is not a skill issue. This is literally them saying you can no longer play the game you paid for while playing the game you paid for. CC makes no sense in the way they have it in this game, and it's frankly brain dead. If I can give my honest opinion about CC, I personally would not be afraid to say this. If they can find a way to get rid of this mechanic entirely, I'm down for that. They need to come up with some sort of different path to take here to increase difficulty instead of having your character standing there dumbfounded, not knowing what to do, and then you're absolutely forced to rely on that one skill or ability that can break you out of that CC. It's just ridiculous to me, and there's other ways they could do difficulty for sure. I think they need to work their way, once again, to really either altogether getting rid of CC against you, as a player, or reducing it absolutely significantly in a way that you have many, many different options of getting out of being crowd controlled. Now, we also have this one right here. I prefer the old act system. Finish an area, hop on a boat, and somehow there's a jungle. This one comes from Zartai, who says, in my opinion, it was so much better. Something about the open world of Diablo 4 sucks. I just can't get into it. I don't know the names of any of the towns or NPCs. It's just not memorable or unique to me. I don't want to hop on the hate bandwagon. I played launch week, beat the campaign, and since then I just poke at the game. I honestly forget it's even out and that I own it. So do you guys prefer more of a structured act system, like hub spaces perhaps, where you can traverse between them, and they're not exactly all interconnected in open world that's seamless? Or do you kind of prefer what's going on now with Diablo 4? Now, we have a reply here, which is interesting. It says, the problem is that the environments are not so different and the reskinned repetitive mobs don't help. I remember more of the jungle environment of Diablo 2 for its unique mobs, the pyramids, and the constant rain. We have a reply here, which definitely got tons of upvotes. The environments would be plenty different if the art directors had let them use any color. Like, I get that it's supposed to be bleak, but when your desert looks like your snowfield, looks like your jungle outskirts, looks like your highland moors, maybe it's time to rethink things a bit. Yeah, you know, I have so many opinions about this. One of the most iconic games for me when it comes to open worlds and opening up the open worlds and seeing the differences between the environments is always, for me personally, Assassin's Creed 2. You continually were going to new places, and they did it in such a way where one area was bright and colorful, and then you would run into an area that was like stormy and ominous. However, the most important thing about what Assassin's Creed 2 did for me, and it's always in my mind on how to craft beautiful open worlds, is they always connected compelling story to environment. When you entered that environment, you immediately had flashbacks to the characters that either ruled the environment, influenced that environment, that were in that environment. This is somewhat absent in Diablo 4. I think there needs to be more compelling story tied to the actual environment that you're in. For me personally, that helps sell the world so much more. Let me know if you agree with that or not. Now, next up, we have this one right here. Personally, Helltides should have Legion events and world bosses in them. The gates of hell open and monsters swarm the land. Now, this one comes from Frozen Fetus, who says, queue Legion events 1 to 2 per Helltide or multiple locations at the same time. Queue Stronghold events where demons try to take back strongholds unless defended. Love it. At the end of the queue, world boss is defeated, Helltide ends, map is marked with recaptured strongholds, waypoints not accessible until they are retaken. Now, spawns every 2 hours. Each world boss drops a weekly cache that contains cinders. Pro tip, open them at the beginning of a Helltide. Uniques based on zone. Legion events have slightly increased chance of dropping uniques based on zone as well. Now, boom, world events finished. No need for 3 timers. Also, a portion of Helltides have a chance to occur in the PvP zones. No chests, but unique PvP elites bosses with increased chance of dropping PvP exclusive items. I love a lot of these ideas, especially the idea of having world bosses in Helltides. I think that would be so cool. Of course, we want strongholds in Helltides. That would be neat to have. And then also maybe something like Nightmare Strongholds as well. I feel like Strongholds are definitely a missed opportunity right now. They're just one of the best features of the game. And I'm surprised they aren't utilizing them in different ways in seasons. Like, we already know that with each season, you're going to have to do the Strongholds again. Why aren't they different in some way, shape, or form? For example, in Season 1, why isn't that Strongholds were completely overrun by the Malignant and we got Malignant bosses in Strongholds? That's the sort of thing that kind of baffles me, and I really hope they tap into making Strongholds always different and unique per season. But yeah, to wrap this up, we got to talk about this one. Let me get this right. They put a certain type of Malignant Invoker behind RNG. No way that's the case. I must be missing something. Please tell me I am. I'm a semi-casual player, currently level 47 on my season character. I've been following the season chapters like a good obedient player, but I recently got stuck in the last step of chapter 3, Purging the Plague. Use a wrathful Malignant Heart. After going through a few of the new Malignant Tunnel stuff, I noticed I could not summon the last boss, the one that requires 2 invokers, because I was missing a specific type of invoker. I told myself that I would eventually loot one of those damn things or be able to craft one like the other 3 I've been crafting, but no. I had to Google where the heck I can find those, only to realize that I had to craft the Invoker cache stuff. I thought, no way, they're putting this thing in a cache at random with a bunch of other Invokers, so I spent all my available mats to craft 2 caches. For some reason, I barely have any of the orange mats. All the hearts I loot are pink or blue, in which I let you guess I got a pink and a blue Invoker. So let me get this straight. Once again, I have to endlessly run those same Malignant tunnels. They couldn't vary the design of them, by the way, over and over again to loot enough useless hearts that I then exchange for mats, which in turn I exchange for a cache that has a random chance of giving me 1 freaking Wrathful Invoker. Is this a joke? Am I missing something? All of that in order for me to complete Chapter 3 of the season, while my Chapter 4 is already 80% complete. Is the boss even worth it at this point? I've killed this dude behind the door in the Malignant tunnel 3 times and got F all loot every time. I'm not fighting that guy again. And we have a reply here. It says, it's good you only need to complete like 8 out of 11 to get the rewards. The rest gets done as time goes on, so I wouldn't worry too much about it after you get the reward. Now, just a tip, if you do the Cold Hard Truth Season 1 quest line, do not complete the quest line all the way through. Don't speak to Corman. Just exit out of that dungeon and then basically restart the game. Go back in the dungeon. You will be able to get a Wrathful Heart pretty much guaranteed by doing that. That's what a lot of people are currently discovering right now. That was also brought up by Rob2628. So yeah, it's a great tip. Utilize it right now because some of you are just frustrated by how they're actually doing the RNG for Malignant Hearts. So go get it. But yeah, now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It can end up in a future video. So let's do this. So yes, let's see what you guys had to say about my most recent video, which is this one right here, Diablo 4. It's official. This is absolutely fantastic news. Devs give updates about patch 1.1.1. So yes, if you missed the news, I proposed to my girlfriend of 3 years recently, and she said yes. I'm still very much on cloud 9 about this one. But anyway, let's get in to see what you guys had to say. Thank you all so much for the crazy amount of replies and congratulations about this, by the way. But yeah, let's talk about it. So it says this, and Filthy Casual 6619 says this, it's not so easy to increase monster density. They have to be careful because when we load in all the extra monsters, we also load in all of their stashed out. Oh my god. Okay. Yep. Pretty much how it's been working out with Diablo 4. Now we have Vlad Impeller 7878 saying, hey man, congrats on the engagement. That's awesome to hear. I wish many happy years for you too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Robert says this, I think the horse speed affected by cursors because they want to use single function for both keyboard and mouse and controller. They want to handle the joystick movement, so can also walk slow if you just tilt it slightly, but ended up causing problems in mouse and keyboard. Interesting theory there. Perhaps you're onto something. Nubmar, excuse me, says, congrats, man. Glad to hear you got the wedding DLC. Don't worry about what people say. There isn't really much respecting needing to enjoy it. Here's hoping the loot drops are legendary for you both. And who knows, perhaps you'll even mentor a couple noobs in this great game of life. Again, congrats, dude. Thank you so much. Now we have Mr. General Scar, who says, congratulations on getting engaged. Best wishes for a happy ever after. Thanks for the Diablo 4 update. Seems as of late that you're my go-to source for checking what is new, so I can listen to it in the background while completing other things. Nice. Yes, I thought when I heard what about a week ago they couldn't increase the stash too fast because every time you meet a player, it loads that player and their stash into memory. That doesn't sound like it's even required. Load the stash for the player playing when they open their stash for the first time. And why does the server even need to load another player's stash into memory when they encounter a different player in the game world? Doesn't make sense to me. Exactly. 100% agree. And we have Corrupted Sid 25 who says, oh my god, dude, congrats. Honestly, man, it's been a little rough, and hearing the news of your engagement put a huge smile on my face when I didn't think it could happen. Rock on. I am so glad to hear that. And there are so many countless comments, you know, giving congrats. I did not expect that at all. Let me tell you what. And to reply to Corrupt Sid here, you know, life has not been easy for me at all. I know what you mean when you say rough times. I went through rough times for about like 15 years. I kid you not. It was a very, very long time. I'm talking about so many elements of rough times. It's insane. Maybe I'll talk about that down the road. I don't want to get too personal here because I know a lot of you come here for Diablo 4 news, but trust me, I get rough times 100% of the way. Like I've told you guys in a previous video, when one of my videos was demonetized, what I did here with Open World Games, you know, did not happen overnight. This wasn't a thing where I was given that small loan of $1 million or whatever. I worked my butt off day and night to get where I am right now. And yeah, I was basically like a cornered animal at one point, clawing for survival. And now here I am. And honestly, sometimes I am in disbelief. But I will say this, it's all because of you guys. Like seriously, the support and love you guys have given me, it's everything. It is why I have been able to be successful. For real. So I attribute it a ton to you all for watching. So thank you so much for the love and support. It really does mean the world to me. But anyway, I always remember going through rough times of my own. And one thing that I thought was like, will it ever end? And, you know, I just have to say, just keep going. Keep your head down, you know, do what you can. And that's what I can tell you. Like, that's what I did. You know, it was very, very rough for a very, very long time. But thank you all so much once again for the love and support on the videos. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned here for more Diablo 4 news. And I do hope to actually rotate into some other open world games that are coming up here that I'm super hyped for. So you might see a video or two about that. We'll see how that goes. See if that takes off or not. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you all next time. Take care.